sheer canyons and towering desert spires of southeastern Utah create a landscape like no other found on Earth. When we first visited this area a few years ago, we were awestruck. We had only started climbing a few weeks prior, and we'd never climbed anything outdoors. When I saw these amazing desert towers, these islands in the sky, I could only wonder, what would it be like to climb up and camp on top of one of them? We were totally unprepared at the time to climb anything like that. But a lot has changed in 3.5 years. We've grown immensely as climbers and sport climb single pitch routes all over the world. We've learned the skills for multi-pitch climbing, and recently we've taught ourselves to trad climb. And it's all been leading up to this. Now we're back in Moab to try it for real. But there was a lot to prepare before we could even think of heading out to try a full-size desert tower. Though our base climbing ability, learned from leading sport climbs, will help a lot, we're new to trad and crack climbing. Fortunately, Moab has no shortage of places to practice these skills. At Wall Street on Podash Road, just 10 minutes from downtown Moab, you can climb good routes without taking more than a few steps from your car. The desert sandstone you climb here is unique. The cracks of this part of Utah are world class, and they generally take trad gear well, since the sides tend to be parallel to each other instead of flaring. The sandy and somewhat fragile nature of the holds takes some getting used to though. Sandy and loose rock is par for the course on desert towers though, so it's best to get used to it here. This is also a good time to brush up on rope and self-rescue skills, as the remote nature of tower climbing means you may not have cell service or other people around if something goes wrong. Most major desert tower summits around here are hundreds of feet tall and have to be climbed in several different pitches, making them a much more committing objective. However, we'd heard there was a suitable introductory tower in Arches National Park that can be climbed in just a single pitch. Just a few minutes from the parking area, in the middle of an awesome national park, and having a straightforward ascent and rappel, Owl Rock has a lot going for it. Understandably, this mega classic climb is very popular due to the ease of access. We got there around sunrise and started setting up to climb. The climb itself is well protected and has more face climbing than crack climbing. This makes it an attainable introductory objective. Linnea followed the climb, and we enjoyed the summit together for a few minutes before rappelling down. Made it! The position on the summit was incredible and got me really excited for future towers. This desert has so much more beauty outside the climbing. There are plenty of great options for a relaxing rest day. But after a rest, we had to go for it. I was shaped by the winds and the water. Born in the desert, I've stood here for millennia, challenging all comers. An island in the sky, seeming to be untouchably remote. Castleton Tower was first ascended by Core and Ingalls in 1960. It was the first major desert tower ascent in the area, and still remains one of the most famous desert towers in the world. I heard a funny story about one of the early ascents. It turns out when the party got to the summit, they found a 1964 Chevy Impala parked on top of a wood platform. And they couldn't figure out how it got there. It turns out Chevy filmed the commercial for the Impala and flew it up here with a helicopter, along with a model and a film crew. After the shoot, high winds meant the model and the film crew had to stay up here for several hours before the helicopter could get them down. Chevy didn't remove the car immediately, and it was a source of annoyance to some of the early climbers around here, who threatened to actually push the car off the summit if Chevy didn't clean things up. Since we planned to spend the night, we hauled up a bag with food and sleeping gear. Some people might think it's silly to haul this gear up a tower that can easily be completed in a day. But you can apply the same logic and say it's silly to climb up here at all, just to go back down. For us, it's about the experience we want to have. We set up our camp and prepared a quick meal before settling in to wait for the sunset. The feeling of watching the sunset from the top of the tower was surreal. It is to stand over it all just for a moment, and yet know how small you really are. As the last light faded, we set about organizing our gear for the night. We brought a tent, but there was no need for it. The night was windless and clear of clouds. A full moon gave a faint light, and the temperature was perfect for sleeping in the open air. It turned out to be quite cozy. After a great night's sleep, we awoke to a beautiful desert sunrise. We watched as the sky bathed in waves of gold, red, and orange. After taking our time to relax and admire the view, we started our rappel down the 450-foot north face of the tower. Our first full-size desert tower adventure was a big success. It lived up to the experience I was hoping for and more. That was without a doubt the most amazing climbing experience we've had so far. But there's so much more to come. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, so you can be the first to know. See you in the next one.